So we're here at the 16th at Lumine and we're going to be looking at how to hit a driver on a tight hole. We've got Dan Whittaker beside me who's going to tell me a few things on how we can do this. So Dan, tight tee shot here, how am I going to play it?
Well, it's obviously an intimidating situation is a tight tee shot, and we know that lots of people, when they get under a tight situation, they end up going against their natural instinct. So if you've got someone who draws it or fades it, they're almost trying to do anything they can to get it in play. What we want to do is play with your natural shot. So what we're going to do is going to get you to a normal shot in a minute, see what you do with a normal shot, and then actually have a look at what we can do to enable you to get the ball in play when it's a super tight situation or when you're under pressure, which are both the same, when you tend not to swing freely and then you get in your own way and not always playing to the course, the strategy, and playing to your strengths.
Okie dokes.
So I've got water up the left here, Andy, and I've bunker up the right hand side. So what I want you to do is, your natural shot's a little draw, isn't it?
Yeah, small draw if anything.
Okay, so I know you think about things about mini targets or anything else. I just want you to do what you normally do. Hit a normal shot for us. Let's see what you do and let's have a discussion about what we can do in order to be able to play the one that's guaranteed to get it in the A1 position.
So I'm going to aim just that kind of bunker up the right.
Yep.
Just try see it kind of moving left off that.
Okay. That looks like it could be your go-to, mate.
That's, yeah, take that every day of the week.
All day. Now, that was absolutely bombed, wasn't it, in fairness?
Yeah,
now, it started a bit more left than probably you ideally wanted it to, because you were saying start it on the bunker. You know,
yep.
In fairness, you hit it that good that it didn't matter because it just flew everything. It was an absolutely amazing shot. But we're talking, obviously, about a hole like this that is really tight. Now, what I first of all looked at there was that your initial target, you weren't very specific in how you picked that out for me. It was like, I kind of started on the bunker rather than, let's pick out something that's much, much smaller, because if we get a small target, our mind and the focus comes into this narrow vision. And when we've got that smaller target, it means that if we miss that, we'll miss it by, much tighter margins. So that's the first thing, is when we're picking out the distance of where we're going to be hitting it to, bring that back to an intermediate target and really visually picking in on a tight tunnel lead, hitting it through. The next one, obviously, we saw there, beautiful little draw. I'd like us to see a little bit of a lower flight than that when we're wanting to get it in play. So what we're going to look at is altering that tee height a little bit. So bringing that down just a touch. But then for me, rather than on a standard tee shot, we're trying to hit a bit more up on it. We want to get that ball out, particularly the modern driver that spins relatively quite low. What we're going to do here is get you a little bit more towards that front foot. Not a lot, but a little bit more. And I'm feeling like you're staying more on top of the ball. Not kind of stingery type staying on top of it, but staying on top of it so that you aren't in a position to hit up on it and get a lot of movement on it. Because that probably moved, what, between 5 and 10 yards in the air?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And what we'd say is that if you're playing on a firmer fairway, that's going to still hit the ground and keep moving a bit more left than we want it to. So if we could reduce that amount of curve, now what will happen is, if you think about this, when we hit up on the golf ball and with the loft there, what happens is the spin loft, which is the attack angle and the dynamic loft, those angles get closer to one another. But when they get closer to one another, we produce more curvature on the ball. That's not what we want on a really tight hole, because if we get it moving too far, even if it hits the fairway, it could kick into the junk. Wouldn't have done on that one because you absolutely bombed it. But, it was perfect for the shape of the hole and everything. But what we want to do is widen that gap, because what it does is it reduces the curvature. And we're going to widen that gap by altering that attack angle, being a little bit more down, by you just simply having the ball teed down a bit more and a little bit more weight near that front foot.
Smashing. Well, let's give that one a go.
Let's go for it, mate. So what I do is, when you're teeing it down here, you just want a little bit less ball above the crown, if just the very edge of it maximum. So that's a lot lower, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely lower than my normal. So
don't fight your normal shot. So still playing the draw, you're just going to see less of it. Now, if you look to the left edge of the bunker, and you see that there is sort of a really light coloured tree with no with no leaves on it. There's leaves on all the others around it, but there's none. It's
Yeah,
a really, really
yep.
light coloured branch. Can you see the middle of that branch?
Yep.
So I want you to see that line. That's where I want you to start the ball.
Okay.
I want you to trace a line back from that to the ball and get an intermediate target. Then
Okey-dokes.
everything is going to be visually seeing a lower shot coming off that target for me.
Right. Now I've got a wee leaf here that's a few feet in front of the ball. That's
Perfect.
looking bang on for that. So just a bit more up in the stance and feel like you're covering it a bit more.
And
That's
feel like
the
you're a bit
key.
more on top of it at address. Not loads,
Okay.
but a little bit. And you'll feel like, if anything, you almost feel like you're going to be slightly hitting more down on it.
Okey-dokes. Right,
Because this isn't about maximum distance, this is an accuracy shot.
let's give it a go.
It's definitely come out flatter
Yep.
and moved less in the air,
Yeah.
hasn't it? You know, it's actually gone up near where the other one was. It just hasn't gone quite as far left in the fairway. It definitely moved less in the air, didn't
Oh
it?
yeah, massively. Yeah, it was
Okay.
probably about half, maybe even less than half.
Less than half the curvature and less than half the height. So for me, that's the perfect shot for that tight situation, because the ball's got less chance of getting offline. It's not going to hit the ground and move offline, and everything about that is just going to be ideal.
Yeah.
So the takeaway just to remember for it is that when you tee the ball down, you're less likely to want to back up under it. And for your draw one, what you never want to do is be too far underneath it,
Yeah.
because it can move quite a long way in the air. So hitting more down on it is going to help us to reduce that. That's going to keep that face a little bit more open, and making sure that to enable you to do that, get that little bit more weight left at address.
Sounds good.